Okay, that was Edema, The Way You Like It, featuring, if I may say so, a heartwarming cameo at the end. I don't know if that's the right word for it. I forgot Chester was in the video at the end.
That's the best part of the video.
That's easily the best part of what is otherwise a fucking disastrous video. We said at the beginning we weren't going to be too mean, but we might have to like break that promise on this video because
it fills out all the little check marks for the douchiest thing that I've seen. Are like
it really does.
It's like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna like try and pick up chicks while I'm in a car with my friend. Like, who said, like, didn't TLC tell us about this?
Right? Fucking no scrubs. No, we don't want any
sorry,
scrubs.
Sorry, Chavez, you're kind of a scrub.
So actually, I mean, Wikipedia does actually have a helpful checklist of things that happen in the music video. Little sidebar, the video was directed by Gregory Dark, who apparently, if I've read this correctly, did porn before doing music videos.
Makes a lot of sense, considering how badly this video was shot.
Wikipedia lists him as one of the few people to have transitioned from adult film into more legitimate forms of film. Like, content aside, the video's pleasant enough. It hits all the 00's metal thing. They even managed to fit in like a dark, grimy alleyway at one point.
It also managed to fit in one of the bandmates pissing in the lady's sink.
Oh god, yeah. So the checklist, as Wikipedia puts it, the storylines that all the band split up into. So Mark Chavez leaves the group and goes off with two women who are later showed in the crowd as the band performs. This misses out the bit where he basically like... So the band are driving around in the car acting like dickheads. They all keep standing up in their seats and like pointing at random people. Like, you know what dickheads do when they get in a limousine? They get out of the fucking roof and start like yelling or whatever. Imagine that, but it's like 5 people in a Jeep. So then the requisite girls in a fast car show up, start checking out the band, and he tries to jump in their car.
It's like, hey, no. Yeah. Violating personal space.
Here's a thing that women would be cool with. I'm just going to jump in the back seat.
Jump in the back seat. I might be a serial killer. What do you know?
I could be anyone. Look, I'm just hanging around with my completely respectable mates. So at this point, it seems obvious that Mark has worked something out of director. Basically, show off his perfect abs as he dances.
Okay, so this is the thing that I was going to ask about. Like, so is he in the audience but also performing? Is this like a time warp situation here?
No. It's both. Did you not notice there was a bit where after he gets his... So he gets to show off his abs, he's dancing with these 2 sexy chicks, and then he climbs up onto the stage, and they're both there, both the band, Mark, and the character from the music video are on stage at the same time, using advanced... You were probably distracted by other things, to be fair, but that happens. They perform together, and then the character Mark jumps off the stage and does a totally awesome stage dive.
I remember a little bit of this because I was just trying to take everything in.
There's a lot going on because that's at the same time that the bassist who like earlier on had to like buy a fake pass to see his own gig, he fucking comes up at the same time and starts like headbanging along to the band at the same time he man does his stage dive.
Yeah, I'm just like, this video is kind of weirdly all over the place.
It really was. Like, he has the less... Oh, no, sorry. The person who gets off the best is... or appears the best, comes out looking the best, is guitarist Tim Flucky, who falls asleep and the group cover him in ketchup. Which isn't quite what happens. They
guitarist Tim Flucky.
It's very... I love how matter-of-fact it is.
He just falls asleep because he didn't want to participate in any of this shit.
That must have been what happened. Like, seriously, because we were saying, like, they had the discussion where they're talking with the director and whoever else has to be there for the planning of the music video, and he's like, yeah, you're going to do all these cool shit, like, you're going to dance with girls, and you over there, you're going to be totally outrageous, do some outrageous shit, and this one guy's like, could I just be asleep?
Can I just be over here?
They're going to have to pull pranks on you though, bro. Like, yeah, whatever. Sweet, whatever. Just... And they move him around like he just warps everywhere. He's asleep the entire song. And good for him if that's
like,
how he played it.
Maybe it was like a... Did he leave... Let's actually look at the Wikipedia. Maybe he like left the band later on after this video. And he's just like, after this video, he's like, you know what, fuck this.
I mean, it says he's still in the current members.
Okay, so maybe I'm just looking too far into it.
And they're still going. See, maybe he wanted to be more outrageous and he got stuck with falling asleep. Maybe we're giving this guy too much credit.
Like, you know, he thought like this was the most outrageous thing he could have done. Like, act like he was asleep. Like, yo,
my guy fell asleep at the metal concert, man. What the fuck?
Hey,
the hell's he doing?
We're supposed to be moshing, but what if I was asleep? Man,
I'm too fucked up from partying. It's like that fucking Wayne's World bit. He's all partied out.
I'm just so tired.
God damn.
I worked a 40-hour week.
I've been too responsible and I can't party anymore. You guys are going to have to carry me out of the club.
I don't eat ketchup.
What a gnarly prank.
I'm actually vegetarian.
Bro. I was too tired to appreciate it.
I don't know what that has to do with ketchup.
I hope there is no gelatin in this ketchup. But yeah, he's probably the least embarrassing one. One of the other guitarists like gets a woman to like do a really bad, what do you call it, sleight of hand trick.
Yeah.
Like basically,
look,
I don't know how he gets her to do it.
This is the early 2000s, and ladies,
it is.
Apparently, they were strong, independent ladies that were also really good for getting you shit that you want.
I bet what he did is he pointed to the stage and he went, "See, I'm here with you, but also I'm playing guitar on stage. You see that?"
I wonder if there was like this like crisis after the music video. They're like,
crisis
"Who
of
the
two
fuck
Adimas.
are y'all?" No, who the fuck are y'all?
Who's the real
But
Adima?
they were all just too douchey to really like process what's going on, so they just killed each other.
They loved it. There's two of us. Yeah, so he does a creepy like VIP stealing thing, because that's the whole point. They're all trying to get VIP things, except the drummer, who for some reason like really needs the bathroom.
Yeah, and then
they do a hilarious jape where he can't get into the men's room because the men keep pushing him for like pushing in line. So he just walks into the women's room, and apparently they don't have stalls in the women's bathroom, so he just has a piss in the sink.
I know, like, yeah,
women love that because you can see the reaction. Like, two of them are shocked, but they're not really angry, and then the person like next to him, who's like doing a makeup, is just sort of does like a little sly, like bemused smile, like what a wacky man you are,
and also not totally has good hygiene habits, pissing in sinks and just anywhere.
Why was this ever acceptable? Why was this ever allowed in a music video, and why wasn't he arrested
I guess they thought
immediately?
It was like kooky or weird or
it's wacky. He's terribly unhygienic and thinks it's fine. Like he doesn't even. There's not even a bit where they get him to look at the stalls and the stalls are full. It's just nah.
And we're not even getting. Hey Jamie, we're not even getting into like the big problem is like you're whipping your dick out in front of like other people unsolicited.
Yeah, just generally under any circumstances. We don't care how desperate you are to relieve yourself.
Just piss yourself. Just
that for once would be way more socially acceptable than the alternative presented here.
You would get arrested or slapped, or you would rightfully.
That's what I was kind of hoping. I was hoping that they'd all get there, because one guy fucking buys a fake VIP card, the other guy steals it. This guy's like a public nuisance. The ending should blatantly have been everyone gets arrested, and then the lead singer guy just like gets robbed by the two women or something.
You see,
like that's his twist.
That would be a good, but that would be too much subversion for the video. You know, like
it would.
These guys look way too douchey. Like I think I was giving Lucky too much.
He's the guy who sleeps.
The man who sleeps.
Because to be fair, he does have ridiculous hair. I'm sorry, sir, but you're the only one who doesn't have ridiculous. No, sorry, they don't all have ridiculous hair. Like, there's the one guy who just looks extremely generic. Like, he'd be the default guy in a character select.
And then there's the bassist who looks like. I mean, he just got the bald head and goatee. He's rocking.
Yeah,
the
he shaved his head.
Thing.
Yeah. He's just standard metal shaved head. There's the drummer whose thing seems to be he doesn't like to wear a shirt. And then there's like because the sleeping guy, he has like blonde hair and a weird goatee, if I remember right. Let me bring this up again, because yeah, he does look like absolutely ridiculous. Oh, but yeah, like the whole video is just so bad.
Oh, the night
and so obnoxious with it too.
The OOs and the button-up shirts.
Oh my god. See, I like button-up shirts, but yeah, there was a disservice done to button-up shirts in the day. Definitely. This is the bit I was looking for. Yeah, fuck. He has like a giant fucking.
He has a giant
bush
bushy
underneath his chin.
goatee.
That was worse than I remembered it. Oh god. And yeah, it should be noted that Chester Bennington, because this is when Linkin Park were getting big, so I'm guessing
there was like cross promotion.
Edema and Linkin Park were on the same label.
We can actually look that up.
It's kind of sad to see it now, but at the time, like, because what I want to say is that they met and they were genuine mates, and they were like, "Hey, let me appear in your video. I'll give you a bit of clout. I'll give you a bit of our clout, you know, because you've been such good friends." Whereas the cynical part of me is like their label just went, "You're gonna go to this Edema video, and you're gonna pretend to be mates with the lead singer. We set it up so you get him into a club and a music video."
Okay, Warner Brothers and Machine Shop for Linkin Park, and for Edema, Arista, Immortal, Legacy, Pavement, and Arachi. I don't know. Maybe it was just something that maybe
they are friends. Maybe it was new metal acts help each other out.
The thing is, like, Chester Bennington was like really cool with a lot of people. Like, I remember, like he did something recent. I say recently, he's passed away now, but like
in the last few years, yeah,
he actually had a thing that he recorded with the guitarist from not Pantera. What the fuck am I on about? He is also dead. He did something with the guitarist from Lamb of God, which I wasn't like a super fan. Like I wasn't like big on, but. I was really like taken back because I heard it on the radio on the local rock station. Like they said, this is what's his name? Like they just introduced it like that. I was like, what the fuck, Chester Bennington on a new track? And apparently it was recorded around the time that he died, like a little bit before he died.
Right,
but after he died, they decided to the guitarist decided to lay on it a bit. And then he decided to release it later.
Yeah, that's in the show. Yeah, it's like get a respectful amount of time.
But apparently, like
before,
I've seen like people talk about Chester Bennington, like the people he talked to was like pretty far-reaching. You know, Linkin Park is usually set like for me anyway. This is my personal experience with Linkin Park. They're separated from, like, you know, Slipknot and Deftones and...
Oh, definitely.
Like Korn.
See, it was interesting you say that, because I looked up... I know I shouldn't use Wikipedia as a fucking research thing, but it's the easiest thing to do. But their new metal page does actually note the fact that at the time, like, the label new metal was highly disputed, and no one big anyway wanted to like claim the title of
like
being metal.
Even Korn was
and Mike Shinoda didn't like it. I'm blanking on his name, but the guy from Slipknot hated it.
Corey Taylor
didn't like it. Jonathan Davis didn't like it, and basically everyone's point of view generally was, no, these other guys are new metal, these manufactured pop acts are new metal, we're dark metal, or they'd have their own words, or they'd say they were unclassifiable. And Chester Bennington, like a few years after the fact, admittedly, but later on he was like, do you know what? Fuck it. The new metal's a label that a lot of fans came to the music by, you know, in that sense, you know, a lot of people listened to music they wouldn't had, you know, it was a far-ranging sound. It sucks, like, as a band, maybe, but when you think of it from a pragmatic viewpoint about, like, getting more fans and having your music reach more people, there's nothing really wrong with the label new metal, really.
Yeah.
And he seemed really chill about it.
I think, like, the reason... Like, it's the same thing that I saw happen with nerdcore and, like, a few other things. And nerdcore is... Honestly, I'll admit, nerdcore is a bit more cringy and weird than new metal.
See, the thing is, because I never got into nerdcore as a whole. I got really into MC Frontalot. I don't know if you heard of MC
Frontalot's good. Like, the big band...
I got so into him, but I never ever listened to anything else. I even remember when MC Frontalot was part of a documentary called Nerdcore Rising.
Oh, you've seen that, yeah.
I've never seen it, but I remember him advertising the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And I liked MC Frontalot, but I looked at the trailer and I was like, all these other guys just look like
Oh, yeah.
I say they look like nerds, but that's obvious.
There is...
But they look like the bad kind of hipster nerd, if that makes...
Yeah.
That sounds like a really elitist thing to say, but they just
I know what
didn't
you mean.
look good. They didn't sound good to me.
Like the big...
It was just like bad rap that was associated with nerddom.
The big band that I learned from that documentary, and the nerdcore band that I really attached to, which is not around anymore, is a band called Optimus Rhyme. And it sounds silly, but go listen to their shit. You're going to like it. It has a lot of funk in it.
Okay.
It has Wheelie, the dude that raps in it. Like, he's really fucking good. He's actually legitimately a good lyricist, and he's good at fucking rapping. He's got bars.
Okay, because that's the thing. Because that's the thing in nerdcore as well. Like, a lot of bands got lost in the shovel. Because I didn't know there was an actual full-on band.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like people. Like, cause I think the other big one was like fucking MC Chris.
Yeah, MC Chris
who I never got
did
into
the whole nu metal thing. He kind of like separated himself from nerdcore. He was like, well, I'm not really nerdcore. I'm just a rapper that talks about nerdy shit sometimes, which is... I can kind of, like, at the time, I was like, dude, just own it. But, like, I can kind of understand, like, being, like, thrown into the, I'm sorry, I hit something. Thrown into the, sort of label and kind of, like, because that's, like, Linkin Park is a very good sort of barometer for, or, like, sort of a good example for that, because they had like the nu metal flair when they came out with Hybrid Theory, but like their new like as their music got like as they released music, they changed so much.
Oh yeah, like I only heard like little bits because I liked Hybrid Theory. Was it Meteor was the second one?
Yeah.
And I liked the song Faint, although I never listened to the album that was from. But then after that, like you say, they made like a huge divergence. And looking back on it now, like, it's good that they did. It's kind of sad when people get annoyed that bands don't ever stay the same, because they shouldn't do it. They should experiment, or they're going to go stagnant. And yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of Linkin Park's later stuff, but I'm glad they changed. They definitely went in interesting directions. They went in a lot more electronic directions, from what I understand. And a lot more softer songs to like showcase Chester's voice as well, and Mike's and Mike Shinoda's too. Like Mike Shinoda's a good artist.
Oh yeah, Mike Shinoda has released some solo stuff that I like.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think of when you listen to like One Step Close and you think like, oh, these are like a slightly harder version of Limp Bizkit, or at least I thought at the time
like,
they were the harsher version of Limp Bizkit.
Let me throw a few bars in here and then let Chester sing. My name's Mike Shinoda.
Yeah,
but then you actually like listen to it, like. I listened to some of his newer stuff after like Chester Bennington died. Dude's really good, and he's really chilled too. Like I've seen him in interviews and everything. He's seems like a really cool dude. I don't want to like sit here and say he's amazing, but Oh yeah, by the way, this song is kind of bad.
Yeah, getting back to the actual topic. Yeah, this song's this song's fun enough.
Like
I don't mind it, but it's not a good song.
It's not
a good song.
Like.
It's a song of the time. It's fun enough. I kind of like the pre-chorus, the bit where he's like, these days, no one remembers when they were young and stupid. That has a kind of flow to it. Otherwise it's kind of boring.
It also has like that sort of thing that you hear like these days.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing as well, because the song's all about, apparently, again, according to the Wikipedia page, and I suppose the lyrics back this up a bit, it's meant to be about how fame changes you and how fame makes you a less likable person. But they chose to marry that to a video where like 4/5 of the band act like completely unlikable dickheads in the first
like
taste
Cypress
of stardom.
Hill, Rock Superstar, which that's the only song you need for this sort of material. Like after Rock Superstar, you don't need to deal with this topic anymore. They dealt with it.
That's a good point, actually. Rock Superstar is probably the best, like all that you need for this sort of like, I'm a singer in a successful band, but being a singer in a successful band is shit because it turns you into a wanker.
Yeah.
That genre, that probably needs a snappier name.
Yeah, Cypress Hill took it as like, you're getting played, basically. You're the one that's getting fucking played here. Yeah.
And you do hear some horror stories,
that's
actually.
the thing. Like, when you talk about musicians, like, there's a lot of musicians that make it big, but there's a lot that, you know, they're either middle of the road or they make it semi-big with like a record, and then like they get fucked over really quick.
And you hear that a lot with like, because this happens all over, but I think it's a thing in America, because America's big enough to have like very vibrant local music scenes that are completely alienated. Even in today's sort of internet connected times, like you can still have, you know, like the classic one is the difference between the East Coast and West Coast.
I'll tell you this as like an American, we have bands here in Louisiana, which is where I'm from, that like if you went outside of Louisiana, you probably wouldn't have heard of them. But then there's like those bands that, like, I don't know, like there's like weird influential bands that are niche to Louisiana, but they're also pretty big. Okay, like the way I'm trying to explain it is like, okay, there's a band called Acid Bath here. They came from Morgan City, Louisiana, which is very far down south.
Right.
They're pretty niche to Louisiana. I can't meet somebody here. Like I've gotten to a point to where anyone my age has heard of Acid Bath and at least likes them. In fact, like one of my old managers had like the Acid Bath hoodie from Acid Bath. I can't talk to anyone else outside of Louisiana that doesn't know about like stoner metal, doom metal, sludge, anything like that. If they don't know about those genres, they don't know about Acid Bath. And like, I guess that's kind of what you're getting into. Like, America's very segmented with its music because of its size.
Yeah. And with regard to like, as I understand it anyway, with regard to sort of like the music label thing, is you'll get like people who are big at a local level and then they get picked up by a record label. Oftentimes they're quite young or inexperienced as artists and they sign a bad deal and then they try and get pushed for nationwide stardom and it doesn't work out for whatever reason. Either they're not as good as they thought or they're in a saturated market, which I think was definitely a thing that happened to a lot of new metal bands. They entered into a hugely oversaturated market. And that actually, oddly enough, is kind of a good segue into our next band, Head Planet Earth. Last band of the night, and a little thing I found out, hence the odd little segue, apparently Head Planet Earth did something exactly like that, where they got signed by like a mid-level label, if I understand correctly, after getting a decent amount of sort of local hype. Got an advance, but they got an advance under the condition that, you know, they pay it back. You get this advance and then hopefully your record sales should cover it. Yeah, no problem. Our record's going to do sick. It's going to do big numbers. And it didn't. And allegedly part of the reason why Head Planet Earth didn't get as big immediately was because they were stuck on this fucking relatively small label because they fucking owed them like a ton of money with interest that they had to do like 2 or 3 albums. And they were getting like offers from Sony and like bigger records labels that they just couldn't get into because they fucked themselves over. Yeah, like say what you want about the band, but that's an incredibly shitty situation.
Like I didn't know this context when going into it, which kind of makes me like want to like watch the video and rethink everything before we get into the other part. I'm like, oh shit, that's actually kind of fucked up. So.
It is, and I believe, if I've read, I could be completely wrong on this because I've only quickly skimmed the Wikipedia page because they've got a big old Wikipedia page. I believe Blackout was after they'd got out of this hole, or at least the immediate hole, like they'd managed to pay them back. Or it might have been the last one they had to do to pay it back, I don't know. Apparently, like, the lead singer doesn't like this album that this is from. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is, for the final song of the night, this is
Do it.
Head Planet Earth with Blackout. Do enjoy.
Yeah.